Yo, is this thing on? What's up, everybody? Spencer Israel, Stock Market TV. That guy, the other dude, is Louis Sykes from ASC Crypto. Mr. Sykes, what's going on?
Welcome, guys. Today, I am just so pumped to be here to talk about everything that I am seeing in crypto. And of course, I'm so happy to be joined by my esteemed colleague, Mr.
Oh,
Spencer
thank you.
Israel.
You're too kind. Louis, we spun this up pretty quickly because that's what we do here. And if I know one thing and only one thing about crypto markets is that they move ridiculously fast, right? And so you got to move fast to keep up. So basically, what's the deal? Are we at all-time highs? Is that what's going on here?
Well, guys, here's the deal. We've got Bitcoin breaking out to new all-time highs. We've got this massive ripper in Ethereum, which everybody has done really well in. So kudos to everyone that's been involved in that trade. But the reason why I'm here to talk to you today is that we're starting to see rotation and we're starting to see new altcoins emerge where Bitcoin has had its run. Ethereum has also had its run. But now we're finally in the early stages of this altcoin rotation. I'm talking about moves that are 4 or 5x. And so what I want to talk to you is just what's happening in this market and then outline some of the trades where we're trying to get these 4, 5, 6x returns. And so, Spencer, I'm really happy to be here with you today.
All right, so let's just give me the lay of the land here, because I know that the total crypto market cap was at 4 trillion. I don't know if it's there at this exact moment in time, but I know it was there recently. I guess we should probably start with Bitcoin because it is, it's Bitcoin after all. So it's not at all-time highs, but it is close to all-time highs. But that's not the story though, right?
Guys, I've got some people messaging me saying, hey, what's the selling over the last few days? And I'm trying to be concerned about this selling. And guys, look at this long-term chart. Here we're looking at Bitcoin since 2021. It's broken out of this massive base. It's broken out yet again. And you know the people, you know the selling that people are worried about? It's
No.
this little blip right here. It's just noise. Forget about it. We are on the way to hitting new all-time highs. I think we're going to get to 155 in the coming months. But the real opportunities aren't in Bitcoin itself. Because if you do the maths, we're trading at about 120 right now. Our target is 155. You do the maths, and that's actually not all that much. I think the train has left the station in Bitcoin, but where the train is still in where the train is still here is in a lot of these altcoins. And so that's what I want to be talking to you about today.
All right, so forget Bitcoin. 120 to 150, we don't care. What do we care about?
Forget about it. It's noise. Because look at this chart of Ethereum. Ethereum has been an
Oh my
absolute
God.
monster. Just look at this massive vertical rally that we've had over these last few months. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more for you, just so you can understand. I was writing about this in May, and I published the alert. Everybody called me crazy. What am I
They
doing?
did. We did. It's true.
Exactly. And sentiment was down in the dumps. Everybody was discounting Ethereum. Everybody forgot about it. But then I said, hey, look, rotation, bull markets live and die by rotation. So, in other words, Bitcoin already had its run because it had all of these ETFs, all of these institutions finally got into the market. So, Bitcoin already had its run. So, I was looking for the next candidate to follow Bitcoin higher. And there was naturally going to be Ethereum, the second largest in the asset class. We published the alert back in May. Everybody was calling me crazy. We had that massive spike. We broke out yet again. And now it seems like everybody is talking about Ethereum. I was listening to the Bankless podcast. They were talking a lot about the Tom Lee prediction. Tom Lee predicts 15,000 Ethereum by the end of the year. Standard Chartered has upgraded their end of year target from 4,000 to 7,500. These are the types of headlines people share when they're late to a trade. And so where my head is at right now, guys, is not looking at the assets that have already moved, but it's looking at the assets that have the most opportunity, that haven't run yet, but are only just beginning.
Can you go back to that zoomed out Ethereum chart? I just want to note, I mean, for those of us that have been in Ethereum for a long time, like myself, this sucked. Like the last few years have really, really sucked. So as good as the last few months have been, that's how bad the last few years were. It was horrible to go and watch Bitcoin, basically every crypto under the sun, make new highs, but not this one for whatever reason. So this is great. This is validating, but it's even more validating for someone like Louis, who was not Louis. You probably were not sitting there, underwater waiting for this thing to break. Well, you were waiting, but it wasn't like you were waiting from the long side. You were waiting from the sidelines, and then you jumped in, and you got the most bang for your buck, right? Not like me, who has been waiting for what 5 years now for these past few months. So kudos to you for actually being smart with your money and not me.
Exactly. I mean, look, people make crypto a religion.
Yeah.
Look at the XRP, the Ripple community. They think that it's just going to take over the world, and people just continue to hold these assets just on leverage over long term. Even though you look at this longer term chart, just like Spencer said, it's been messy. It's just been an absolute mess. But right around here, right around May, sentiment was in the dumps. People were shorting the hell out of Ethereum, and it was, retesting right into the support. And so the setup was there. And so we combine all these signals to deliver the most high conviction trade ideas rather than just relying on hope or some fantasy or some conspiracy theory that it's going to take over the world. We need to get in and out of these things, and that's precisely what we've done on
So
Ethereum. We
you're out
published the
now.
alert, and then we took profits. Yeah,
You're out
I'm
now.
out
Okay.
because look, guys, crypto moves so fast, just like what Spencer said at the beginning of the conversation. And so you need to be nimble. You need to be moving in and out of these things because where I think Ethereum is moving is I think it just cools down for a little bit. We've had this massive run. I think we move sideways. I think it digests. Now, Spencer, I'm going to ask you this. In a raging bull market, do you
Mhm.
want to be in an asset that's moving sideways for a few months? Or do you want to be in something that's already moving?
Well, with me, if I answer honestly, it's probably going to be the former. But what you actually want to do is be in the latter, right? You want to be in the things that are going up, not in the things that are going sideways. Easier said than done, but that's the Spencer answer.
Exactly. I mean, a very Spencer answer. I want to be in the things that are moving, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
look, I do too, but then we all end up. Look, Ethereum, you just showed on the chart there. I mean, it ripped higher in May and then did nothing for what, a month and a half, 2 months? So
Mm,
these things happen.
they do. I mean, I want to transition the conversation, guys, to what's happening in the Bitcoin markets and how that's going to impact all of these trades that I'm seeing that could be multi-baggers in the back half of this
Yeah.
year.
So
So
let's
there's a
move
lot
away
going
from
on in
ETH.
this chart.
Yeah, let's move away and talk
Yeah,
about
yeah. So
yeah, where's the money?
yeah, so there's a lot going on in this chart, but what this chart is showing is what the smart money are doing in Bitcoin. And you can see this in the green bars below. When this green bar is below zero, it means that smart money are betting against Bitcoin. They think it's going to fall. When this green bar is above one, as you can see in these periods here, it means that smart money believes that Bitcoin's going to move higher and they're positioned to take advantage of that. So I've indicated some periods where commercial hedges, or the so-called smart money, where they get long and where they get short or where they get flat. So you can see that commercials really got long before this massive rally. Right before the market peaked, they went flat. And right before the Trump election, they had a massive amount of long positioning. And then they obviously took advantage of that. Then at the most recent top, they went short. They profited off the downside. And then before this most recent rally, they went long again. So the point I'm trying to show here is that these guys have absolutely nailed the Bitcoin trade. So what are they doing right now? You can see that they've been really long, but now they've actually sold down most of their long exposure. They're basically doing the same thing that we're doing in Ethereum right now. So what do I impute from this? What do I get from this? So even though I think Bitcoin's going to move higher, I agree with what the smart money is thinking here. I think that the opportunities are going to be down the cap scale even more. I'm not talking about Ethereum. I'm not just talking about Solana. I'm talking about really down the cap scale. That's where we get these multi-bagger rallies. And the fact that smart money is just confirming that just makes me feel so much better about this.
So, first off, how far down are we going? Like all the way down or just halfway down?
Well, guys, I like to go deep down to the trenches
Oh boy.
every single day
Oh
when I get
God.
to my desk. I'm looking at what's happening deep down in the trenches because that's where you find the most returns. And you look at I'm going to pull up the gold markets here. Oh, I don't have the gold markets with me, but look, in the gold markets, the best performers in the gold markets weren't just gold itself. It
Right.
was all the miners. Because gold, even though gold was up a significant amount in previous cycles, the assets that did the best in that market environment wasn't just gold itself. It was the miners. It was the junior miners. It was the guys who just had a hole in the ground. They don't know whether anything was down there, but people were speculating on it, and they did really well. And
But
the
here's the
reason
rub, right,
why that
Louis?
is,
Here's the rub: is you
yeah,
have to be tactical with that stuff, right? Like really tactical. You have to. This is not, um, set it and forget it type of thing. You gotta know your ins and know your outs.
yeah, yeah, precisely, because these things are really volatile, and so you need to time the entries and exits. You need to be managing risk and everything. So every single day when I'm publishing my ideas, I don't care about how much money I could make. And well, yes, certainly I do. What's front and center of my mind is what I could potentially lose. Because ultimately, we need to stay in this game long enough so we can keep making money off of these moves. And you see a lot of people, they put too much, they leverage, and it just doesn't end well. And so being very responsible, I think, is just always a good caveat there.
All right, what do we got here? Is this the average altcoin? This is showing. I mean, you tell me what it shows because I look at this and I just see overhead supply. You tell me what you see.
So, guys, so this is the reason why we jumped on this call today, because the move in Bitcoin has already taken place. It's already well above into all-time highs. Everybody is talking about it. Everyone's talking about the ETFs and the institutions. The move in Ethereum, at least in the short term, has already happened. It's already more than tripled off its lows. So the reason why I'm here today is to talk about this chart and to talk about all the others that look exactly like it. Because while this move has been taking place in Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and Ripple, you know what hasn't been doing anything? The entire crypto ecosystem. So you could even make the claim, and Spencer, I'm going to be quite bold here. Perhaps the crypto bull market hasn't even started because the only real movers this bull market has just been Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. The entire crypto ecosystem looks like this. It's still in a nasty drawdown. It's still just been trading sideways. And so I just dropped a note to our crypto members saying that the greatest moves of the cycle are
Yeah, I
still ahead
saw
of
that.
us. We are entering into the later stages of this bull run, which is precisely when a chart like this can massively skyrocket. And so we're looking at a chart like this, which has just formed this really nice base. And I think a breakout's coming. I think a breakout's coming in these next few weeks. And I think that a lot of these altcoins are going to be posting some sizable gains. So that's what I get from this chart, Spencer.
Yeah, I saw that email. Was that yesterday or the day before that went out, or maybe it was this morning? I don't even know anymore. But yeah, you were saying that the bit that the party is just getting started, uh, and the biggest moves haven't been made. I hope you're right. If you're right, Louis, we're all making a lot of money. So tell us more, please.
Tell us more. I mean, Bitcoin
Yeah.
dominance. We were talking about this months ago, saying that it had peaked. My claim, what I think Bitcoin dominance has peaked forever. I don't think it's going back to these levels ever. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, for a thriving asset class, you want to have diversity. You want to have diversity among all different sectors and groups and narratives and themes. You haven't really had that in the crypto markets this cycle. It's been led by Bitcoin because, well, for those of you who don't know, Bitcoin dominance is basically just calculating what percentage of the crypto market Bitcoin comprises of. So when this is rising, it means that Bitcoin is becoming a more dominant asset in the asset class. But it's more recently, it's collapsed. It's just absolutely crashed. And the reason why that is because you've had this move in Ethereum, and now more recently, you're starting to see emerging life within the crypto ecosystem. So this chart moving lower only just points to the fact that a lot of these moves haven't really taken place yet.
But it looks like it's crashed, but it's back to where it was 6 months ago, right? Or I guess seven
Yeah.
months ago now. So it really hasn't come down all that much in the grand scheme of things, right?
I mean, folks, the best moves of this cycle are still ahead of us. I mean, look, and this chart's only just getting into the green just now. The window is only opening right now. I
Louis,
think that's tremendously exciting.
your argument's very interesting. Your argument is actually not that dissimilar. It's actually almost identical to on the stock side, there's the Mag 7 versus everybody else, right? And a
Mm.
lot's been written about how the Magnificent Seven, if you magically erase them tomorrow, then they would account for X percentage of S&P gains and Y percentage of S&P earnings growth, and they're carrying the market. And like factually, those things might be true. But the implications of that is very wrong. The implication is without those seven stocks, you can't make money. And that we know is not true. And that's exactly what you're saying, right? Is Bitcoin, if we're in a bull market, Bitcoin is still going to go higher. But
Mm.
that doesn't mean you have to be in Bitcoin to make money. In fact, quite the opposite, right?
Exactly. I mean, look, you
Yeah.
see the same thing in the equity market. You see a lot of these ARK stocks, these speculative growth stocks, these biotech stocks. It's in this stage of the bull market. We've been in this bull market now for a while. And the closer to the climax of that bull market you get, the more the speculative end really takes off. Think about 2021. What was happening at the end of that bull market? You had all of these ARK stocks, speculative growth, small caps, everything was exploding. The meme stocks. We are close to that in the crypto markets, but we're not there quite yet. Look, when this starts getting into the green zone, that's the confirmation. That's confirmation that we are getting into that market, just like you were saying, Spencer, in the stock market. And so
Yeah.
that's why I want to talk about just some of our recent trades. These are just in the last few
Yeah.
weeks that we've been putting on.
I've never heard of this, at least not before you. I want to know sort of what set your alarm bells off and what you did.
I mean, look, these are just some of the trades we've been putting on just in the last few weeks. They're only just getting going, right? Just in the last few weeks, up 60% since we've been talking about Aerodrome Finance. This is one of the largest exchanges, dexes on the Coinbase blockchain. And you want to be looking for opportunities where these crypto tokens are well positioned in a market where there's a lot of speculation, where a lot of these tokens are moving higher. What better place to do that than with an exchange that's literally collecting fees? It's a money collector of speculation. This thing has already popped. It's up 60% since we've been talking about it just in the last few weeks alone. This trade has obviously, left the station. Another one is DeFi app. Again, this one's almost like the Robin Hood, or trying to become like the Robin Hood of the meme coin market. And again, since we published this alert just a few weeks ago, Spencer, just a few weeks ago, it's up 50%. This trade is only just getting going right now. And so these 50% moves, these are only just in the last few weeks. What we're talking about is 4 or 5x, maybe even 6 or 7x returns, and a lot of these altcoins that are just breaking out right now.
What was it that you saw? Is there a common theme that you're looking for here? Besides, like you could just say technical breakout, but there's more to it than that.
Well, there's a lot more to it. I mean, and this one's really interesting because, first and foremost, they are taking 80% of the trading fees that they're generating off their platform, and they're using that to buy back this particular token. And so you've got that supply tailwind. You've also got a demand tailwind. They're taking 1% of this token supply, and they're doing something called Yap to Earn. So Yap to Earn is something where if you're talking about this particular token,
There are no fundamentals in crypto, and it's actually not true, right? There are fundamentals in crypto. You have to look at you have to look at the project, right? And the project has its own economics and incentive system and platform and scalability and usage, and all those things kind of factor in when you're going down the rabbit hole like Louis is. Those factor into the equation, right? So
you know what? Just to prove just how far down the rabbit hole I go,
oh please,
I like to pull up my binder.
show.
Let me just get my binder for you.
Yeah, get the
This is
binder.
the
Get the
this is
binder,
the
Louis.
WorldCoin white paper. You
Okay.
know, I'm going through and reading these things, literally printing out. That's 170 pages. Read it in an afternoon. I'm in the weeds with these things because ultimately that's how you find the best trade ideas, doing the work, and that's precisely what I deliver
Dude,
to all of our crypto
you got
members.
binders full of crypto over there. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
craziness. All right.
Um,
Yeah. What is this? Oh, there's no ticker on this chart. What's that about?
No ticker on this chart. So just out of fairness to our crypto members, this is an example of the trade that I just put on last week that I published. because just look at this, where Ethereum has already had its move, Bitcoin's had its move, and look at this beautiful base. And this thing is just poised to break out. Now, again, I've removed the ticker from this just out of fairness to our crypto members. But what I will say is the moment that you guys sign up, you immediately get access to these types of charts, to these trades that I just put on yesterday, that I published yesterday as well. And so another example, look at this. This one has just formed this really nice breakout. It's retested. It's already moving higher. I think this one quadruples in the back half of this year. That's precisely the type of play that I want to be in right now.
Nice. It looks
To get back,
every week there's new ones, right?
yeah, every single week, particularly in this market environment, we're always putting out these trade ideas just because there's so many opportunities hitting my desk every single day. Just like the Aerodrome Finance or the DeFi app that I talked about, already up 50 or 60% just in the first few weeks that I'm publishing these trades. I think they move a lot more higher than that, but every single week providing trade ideas to my members.
Let's talk about that for a second. What do you get if you are a member besides obviously, the hottest, freshest baked, just out of the oven or air fryer, whatever your appliance of choice is, trade ideas. Louis, you've been working pretty hard this summer. A lot of people, when the summer months hit, they go out of town, whatever, they go to the beach. You've been putting together a crap ton of content, I guess, because we're in a bull market and that's what you got to do, right? So you've got reports, you've got video guides. What do you have? What have you been working on?
Well, I think the greatest pain point with crypto, I get this a lot from people. They
Yeah.
say, I see all these opportunities, people are making money, but the thing is, I don't know how to do it. It's really complicated. I don't know how to set up a wallet or an exchange. I don't know where to buy these things or what tokens to buy, what prices or when to buy them. It's all very complicated because you've got all these additional mechanisms in crypto that you don't have in the traditional stock market. So here's what I do. I outline all of these trades, the particular entries, the risk levels, the targets, so that makes your life easier. And then I'm also telling you the particular exchanges that I like to use, and more importantly, how to actually use those exchanges. Because again, things in crypto can be quite complicated. There's new jargon and new words, new terminologies, new phrases. I break that all down for you. So the moment you sign up, you get access to all of these trade ideas, those 3 trades that we just talked about just now, but all the others that I've been putting out these last few weeks. You also get access to the special reports that I write to outline just how to use these exchanges, how to master Coinbase, how to become familiar with the most important themes that are impacting the market today. And then most importantly as well, is you also have direct access to me. So if there's anything that you're a little bit unsure about, whether it comes to the service or whether it comes to the crypto markets in general, or hell, it could just be what I'm doing in the weekend. I get a lot of people saying, hey, I'm coming to New Zealand. Do you have any good hiking tracks in New Zealand that you would recommend? And I'll obviously recommend them all because I've done them all. You have direct access to me just via email, and I'll reply within 24 hours. And so it gives you access to everything that you need to take advantage of this next major move within the crypto markets.
Okay, so if you are watching this video on YouTube, the link is in the chat and in the description. If you're watching on stockmarkettv.com, just kindly scroll down and the link, the sign up link is right there. And if you're watching on the platform formerly known as Twitter, then just go to allstarcharts.com/crypto, and that'll get you to the page to get all this beautiful, fresh crypto content. So we got some nice little graphics here if you want to pull those up, Louis, that I thought were really clean. Oh, we didn't even mention Rangefinder. When you sign up, you get access to Rangefinder, which is basically a real-time trade tracker. Keeps you honest, right, Louis? Keeps you honest. It's a real-time trade tracker that updates with real-time pricing for every idea that Louis puts out there, right? So the track record is all there.
Exactly. And so again, there's a lot happening in these markets. But with All Star Charts Crypto, not only do you just get access to all the research I'm putting to your inbox every single week, but then you have access to our Rangefinder app, which is the best app that I've ever come across to track all of these trade ideas, the entries, the returns, the risk versus reward, There's a risk versus reward calculated there, so you can enter the portfolio size and how much you want to risk per trade, and it gives you some information around that. And it's just the most easy tool that I've ever come across to just track all these trade ideas that I'm putting out every single week. So you get access to that the moment you sign up.
There was a question in the chat from Todd. Any thoughts on Jasmy slash HBAR or Algo? Well, Todd, and not to spoil it for you, but one of those take tokens per day.
I mean, that's crazy, guys. I mean, look,
Tokens per day.
I mean, that's crazy, guys. I mean, look, I'm deep down in the weeds. And so not only am I tracking these big markets, I'm also tracking the markets deep in the absolute trenches and the gutters of the crypto markets. And there are thousands, tens of thousands of tokens that are being launched every single day. Now, obviously, 99% of them are just all zeros, but it's just an example where there's just so much animal spirits involved. There's just so much speculation and greed and really a lot of interest within these retail markets. So again, a lot of these tokens are really well positioned to take advantage in a market environment where 50,000 tokens are being launched every single day. It's just
crazy,
ridiculous.
Anyway, ASC Crypto, right? Normally off the shelf, $39.99 for the year today, and this week only $19.99 for the year. Should mention every membership at All Star Charts comes with that 30-day risk-free offer. You sign up today. 2 weeks go by, you decide, not for me. It's okay. We can still be friends. Get your money back. All good. I don't think he'll do that, but I guess it's always possible. So it's, that offer applies across the board. So really no risk to you. The really, actually, that's not true. The risk, Louis, is not getting involved. That's the risk, right? We are in a bull market. The risk is not making money in a bull market. There is a risk here, and it's not getting involved. So get involved.
Exactly.
That's all I have to say about that.
I mean, the way that I think about it for myself is that if I'm not involved in crypto, I'm by definition short. Most people now have some sort of allocation. Fidelity recommends an allocation. A lot of these big institutions are talking about having some sort of allocation to crypto. So by definition, even if you're just a passive investor, then if you don't have crypto, you're by definition short. And so again, just like Spencer said, there's a risk to the other way.
And if you think you're late to crypto, consider this. If you add up the value of every crypto on Earth, it would be roughly the equivalent of Microsoft. Okay, they're about the same.
Tiny.
So what would happen what would happen from a market's perspective if Microsoft went away tomorrow? It would be something of a deal, but life would go on, right? Life would go on. It's one stock. There's thousands of other stocks out there. Life would go on. So crypto is that. It's one stock. It's one Microsoft. It's not even one Nvidia, right? So there is so much more room from an asset class standpoint for this to run. We really are probably not in the first inning, but we're definitely not in like the eighth inning either. You know what I mean? That's a baseball analogy. I'm not sure if you know innings, but we're definitely early is the point I'm trying to make, right? We're early.
Yeah. And extending on that, you talk about Microsoft. If Microsoft went away tomorrow, it wouldn't really matter. I would miss my Microsoft Excel, don't get me wrong.
It would matter
but the sun would still rise,
yeah.
the sun would still set,
Right.
we'd still have an economy, everything would be all good.
Right.
But when it comes to crypto, you say that the crypto markets are at the equivalent size of some of these stocks. But just think about this. Bitcoin and Ethereum basically make up 2/3 of the entire asset class.
Yeah.
And so in actuality, the other remaining third is the size of an even smaller stock. And so the amount of upside for a lot of these particular crypto tokens that are really small in market cap comparatively is just tremendous. They could go away tomorrow. It wouldn't really matter. They could double, they could 10x. It wouldn't really matter to anyone. And so that's why there's a lot of hidden opportunities here. Nobody is really talking about this particular rotation that I'm seeing. Everyone's talking about Bitcoin. Everyone's talking about Ethereum. Nobody is talking about these other blockchains, these other layer ones, these other layer twos that are breaking out right now that I just provided the charts to you guys and that I just provided the trades to our crypto members. Nobody's talking about it.
That's
even in my crypto circle, nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
And so again, I just think there's just a tremendous amount of opportunity in a lot of these names.
All right, everyone, get involved. Again, the link in the chat and in the description on YouTube, on the bottom of the page on stockmarkettv.com, allstarcharts.com/crypto. If you're watching on Twitter, special offer expires this Friday, I believe. Actually, if you don't know how to get it, email the address on the screen or call the number on the screen. We'll hook you up that way as well. So, Louis, a pleasure as always. And tell me when the next Ethereum breakout, or no, it is breaking out. So tell me when the next time it consolidates, I'll wait for you to tell me when to buy it again. How about that?
Yeah, sounds good.
Good deal.
And look, thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate it. And so from where the sun rises first, I really appreciate you guys joining.
Thank you, Louis. Stay bullish, everyone.